Hello children, it's good to have you here for the Bible story. Last time we talked about the very first Easter when Jesus rose from the dead. He was seen by very many people, but I think the time that he spent with his disciples must have been very special to him. The story starts with Peter, who's decided to go fishing. He gets into the boat with some other disciples and they cast their net over the side into the Sea of Galilee, hoping to catch lots of fish. They're going to fish all night, but come the morning, their nets are still empty. So they're on their way back to the shore when they see, on the shoreline, a figure. They don't know yet it's Jesus, but a figure calls out to them, "Have you caught any fish?" And they say, "No." Then the figure calls again, "Cast your net," he says, "onto the other side of the boat," which they do. And the fish they caught, well, it was just so many, they could hardly haul their net into the boat. It was so heavy with all the fish that they caught. It was at that time that one of the disciples looked and said, "It's the Lord." Well, with that, Peter jumped out of the boat into the water, putting on his fisherman's coat, and he went as soon as he could to get to Jesus. He couldn't wait for the boat to come to shore. It was all taking too long. He was so excited. When he got to Jesus, he saw that Jesus was already cooking fish and had some bread for them to eat. He was making breakfast. Now Jesus called to the other disciples, "Come and join us and bring your fish," which they did. They came along to join Peter and Jesus for a lovely breakfast by the beach. And their net was so heavy, but they brought all their fish in. And they must have counted it because the Bible tells us there were 153 fish. Now everyone was having a lovely time, eating fish and bread and talking with Jesus. But Peter must have had a heavy heart at that time, because he remembered that before Jesus died, he had denied knowing Jesus 3 times. But Jesus was going to ask him 3 questions now. And Jesus says to him, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter says, "Lord, you know I love you." "Then feed my lambs," said Jesus. Then Jesus asked again, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Lord, you know I love you." "Take care of my sheep," said Jesus. Then Jesus asked a 3rd question, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Lord, you know everything, and you know I love you." "Then feed my sheep," said Jesus. When Jesus talked of sheep, he was talking of God's people. And he talked on with Peter about the things that Peter would do in the time to come, and that Peter would look after the flock, would look after the people, God's people, and those who loved and believed in Jesus. So we have that reassurance today that Jesus is always there to care for us and to feed us, and we can always trust in him. So until next time, for the next Bible story, I'll say goodbye. Bye, children.